Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and welcome to my WrestleMania 34 review. We are going to be breaking down the biggest show of the year. It is great to be back up here, and guys, we certainly have a lot to talk about coming out of this long show. It was over 7 hours of wrestling. That's a lot of wrestling to sit down and watch. But I have to say, looking at this card from top to bottom, I thought this was a good WrestleMania. Was it a perfect WrestleMania? Was it better than NXT TakeOver? No, it wasn't. I think it was going to be very hard for this show to compete with NXT TakeOver. And to me, it's unfair to make that comparison because NXT TakeOver was a 3-hour show. This was a 7-hour show. I think, if NXT was 7 hours, would it have been as good? I'm not quite sure. But be that as it may, I thought comparing this to past WrestleManias, just going down the line here, I thought this was better than last year. I didn't think it was quite up to the standards of 31 or 30, but I thought it was better than 32. I could say that. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Biggest show of the year. A lot of surprises. Some good, some bad. Weird, awkward main event that I'll, of course, get into. But, yeah, guys, without further ado, let's dive into my WrestleMania 34 review. So we kick things off here. I did not catch the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But apparently Matt Hardy won. That's right. Woken Matt Hardy won the Battle Royale. Apparently Bray Wyatt made his return. Lights go out. Bray Wyatt appears. So it came down to Ziggler, who was eliminated by Kane. We had Corbin and Raleigh team up to beat down on Hardy. Bray Wyatt appears. And Mojo Rawley gets eliminated. Corbin hits the end of days on Hardy. Hardy sends Corbin over the top rope for the win. So are we going to be seeing a faction here between Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, and potentially Brother Nero? He can make his return tomorrow on Raw, or tonight, I should say. That is something that I would like to see. The Hardys with Bray Wyatt as a faction, now that Bray Wyatt has returned from the lake of reincarnation. Yes, it is wonderful. It is delightful, yes. So, for those of you that watch this, how was it? To me, it was the only guy that could have won this, for me to give a crap, was Matt Hardy. Nobody else really made sense. I didn't see Bray returning and winning the match. So obviously, he wasn't in this. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Yeah, to me, it just sounded average. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Moving on here to Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali in the finals of the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. I thought these two had a good match. I thought the crowd early on was dead. I thought, though, they picked up nicely here towards the end. I have to say, though, I know these two could have a much better match. I thought they had a good match, but I was expecting a lot more, and maybe that was just my expectations were a little bit too high for this, but they still had a good match here. Cedric Alexander, of course, got the big win here. As you know, Alexander yelled at Ali to stand down. Earlier on in the match, Ali tried to hit an 054, his finisher, but Alexander was able to get his foot on the rope. He stopped the pin, hit some back elbows, some nice spinning back elbows onto Ali, and he hits the lumbar check onto Ali, and finally, long overdue, I feel, Cedric Alexander is your new Cruiserweight champion. So shout out to Cedric. I was kind of pulling for Mustafa Ali, I have to say, but Cedric, I feel it was well deserved. But yeah, I thought the match was good. It could have certainly have been better, but I think they got maybe 12 minutes on the pre-show here. So yeah, I thought it was easily, they got 12 minutes here on the pre-show. I thought it was the best match on the pre-show. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Cedric Alexander's reign as Cruiserweight champion goes. And we'll see where that goes from here. Next, we had a 20-woman Battle Royale for the inaugural, what originally was called the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royale, but that was deleted for the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale trophy. We had Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Carmella, Dakota Kai, Dana Brooke, Kairi Sane, who I didn't even see in this match. Kavita Devi, Lana, Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Natalya, Peyton Royce, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Sasha Banks, Sonya Deville, Tanera Conti. Decent Battle Royale. Of course, it came down to what we thought was Bayley and Sasha Banks. Bayley eliminated Sasha Banks here, and then it seemed as if Bayley won the Battle Royale. However, Naomi, who was never eliminated, was on the outside. She came back in, hit the rear view on Bayley, and threw her over the top for the win. So Naomi, in a surprise fashion here, beat Bayley to win the inaugural WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. It was what it was. It was Battle Royale, and I really have nothing more to say about this. It was just okay. So let's move on to the actual card, the main card for WrestleMania 34, which of course took place here in New Orleans in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in front of a record attendance of 78,133. The stage setup was incredible. You had that Mardi Gras, New Orleans type, the big mask, and the Mardi Gras mask, and it was just an incredible stage. We had fireworks, we had pyro. It was glorious. This looked and felt like WrestleMania, and it was certainly something to behold. So like I said, moving on here, of course, we had America the Beautiful, which was very nicely sung here by, let me look them up here, America the Beautiful, WrestleMania 34. Chloe Hale, the sister duo who have worked with Beyonce, Chloe and Haley. I hope I got that right. They did a nice rendition. I really felt like, America the Beautiful. That's a great way to start off WrestleMania. You do the opening video package. We get the pyro going. It's WrestleMania time. And how do we kick off this show with the Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship match? I thought this was a damn good way to kick off this show. The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. I have to say Seth Rollins had a badass entrance with the pyro. Burn it down. The flames shooting up on the Titantron. This was good stuff right here. And Balor, of course, with the LGBT community, nice entrance as well for him. I didn't think we'd see the Demon. I know a lot of people said the Demon will be at WrestleMania. I didn't see it happening just due to the fact of they didn't really hype it up in advance. They didn't really announce anything. Usually there's a tease that the Demon will be here for WrestleMania. But I thought this was a damn good opener. I don't know if it quite matched the match that they had on Raw last week, Balor and Rollins. I thought that was a damn good match as well. But this was a perfect opener here for WrestleMania. These guys were going all out with sunset flips, the frog splash from Rollins, suicide dives, kick out. Rollins kicked out of the skull-crushing finale. Balor looking for the 1916. Miz cut him off. I really like that spot where Balor tried to hit the 1916, but Rollins was able to break that up, and Miz hit the skull-crushing finale off the top rope, tried to pin Rollins. Balor hit the coup de grace on Miz to the back. That looked painful. Broke up the pin. Balor hit the coup de grace on Miz. Rollins was able to hit the curb stomp on Balor as he was trying to pin Miz. And Miz rolled over, and Rollins curb stomped the Miz, and he became your new Intercontinental Champion. Seth Rollins now officially a Grand Slam champion in WWE. It's really great to see for Seth. Like I said, these three, they had a hot crowd. It was a perfect way to kick off WrestleMania. Great to see the Intercontinental Championship back at some level of prestige here. I really didn't see Seth Rollins walking out with the win here. I thought for sure it was either going to be the Miz retaining or Finn Balor gets the win. I didn't want to say Seth was an afterthought, but I just thought out of all the guys here, he was the least likely candidate for me to win the Intercontinental Championship. But this was a good match, a good way to kick off WrestleMania 34. The good times keep rolling, folks, like it says in the title of this video. We move on to the next match here on the show. And this was, to me, one of the best women's matches I've seen on the main roster. It was the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Charlotte versus Asuka. It doesn't get much bigger than this on this show. Charlotte, of course, one of the most dominant women on the main roster, and Asuka, with Asuka's undefeated streak on the line here. Asuka, of course, her undefeated streak was unparalleled. And it's been a streak that I certainly didn't see dying. But of course, New Orleans, we all know what happens when you go down there. We all know what happens to streaks at the Superdome. They come to an end. And this was shocking. 2 years, 6 months, 2 days, and 276 matches. Of course, the Empress of Tomorrow said, nobody is ready for Asuka. But tonight, April 8th, 2018, Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Of course, when it came down to the figure 4 leg lock, and Asuka was able to get out of it, try to get in the Asuka lock, Charlotte hit a huge spear on Asuka, kicked out, great near falls towards the end. Charlotte put Asuka in the figure 8, and Asuka tapped out. I was like, whoa, I certainly didn't predict that. I was shocked. But I'm okay with this. I think, yeah, Asuka's going to have to be rebuilt because her whole thing was, and she even said it, Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Now, all the momentum's back on Charlotte. I feel now the money match to do next year at WrestleMania 35, which I will, of course, hopefully be in attendance for at MetLife Stadium. I feel the money match next year, and feel free to agree, disagree with me, is Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey in potentially what could be the first ever women's main event at a WrestleMania. I feel that's the match to do now. Charlotte beat Asuka. That's a huge win for Charlotte. Huge. And where does this go with Charlotte on SmackDown? What does this mean for Asuka on Raw? Well, I guess we'll have to tune in and find out tonight and tomorrow, respectively. Really good match. Probably my second favorite match of the night, I'd have to say. Great stuff between Charlotte and Asuka. Definitely one of Charlotte's best matches on the main roster. I don't know which match I enjoyed more, this or the triple threat from WrestleMania 32 featuring Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks. That was also a really good match. Definitely, I'd have to say out of all the matches that Asuka had, her battles with Ember Moon, Bayley, to me, this was probably my favorite match in Asuka's WWE run. And by the way, throughout this entire night, John Cena was a fan at ringside, and that was awesome to see. I love the fact that they literally had Cena sitting at ringside throughout this entire show, and how surreal it was when the referee came down and whispered in John's ear, "The Undertaker is here." And there's memes of this, of Cena sprinting up the ring because, oh my God, the Undertaker. It's just, it was so funny. I'm just like, Cena was like, he really had to go to the bathroom. That's what that was actually for. But the Undertaker was going to show up later on at WrestleMania. We had our United States Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Randy Orton defending against Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev. I don't really have too much to say about this, except I wish Rusev won. Rusev should have won. However, Jinder Mahal blasts him with the Colossus and becomes your new United States champion. Match was what it was. It was okay. It was average. I didn't really have high expectations for this going in. When Rusev was added, I wanted to see Rusev win the championship. However, that did not happen. So Jinder's U.S. champion, whatever. I really don't care. That's really all I have to say about this match. So moving on here, let's talk about a match that I knew going in was going to be good. And this was, to me, My match of the night. And I'm talking about Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. To the doubters that didn't think that Ronda had it or she was going to fail in this match, I have to say, I'm glad she proved her critics wrong. I knew going into this, and I even said that Ronda was going to deliver, and I felt she certainly did. This match told a great story. Was it perfect? No, but I felt it was fun. It was a fun match to watch. The crowd was easily invested in it. When Ronda Rousey got in there, it was great. Started off with Triple H, Kurt Angle. They beat the shit out of each other. Eventually, Kurt Angle slowly tags in Ronda after Stephanie, tried to pull her off the ring and interfere and do everything she could not to get Ronda in there. And she cleans house. She just unleashes a flurry of strikes on Stephanie. She suplexes Stephanie across the ring. I didn't like seeing Stephanie get out of the armbar, but hey, it is what it is. That was a little ridiculous. Stephanie hit DDT on Rousey, running knee. And eventually, when it came down to Rousey and Triple H going at it, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Ronda's unloading on Triple H, and rolled him into a fireman's carry. And as it looked like she got Triple H up, Stephanie came in, slapped Ronda in the face. Kurt Angle gets back in the ring, suplexes Triple H, pulls down the straps, tries to get in the ankle lock. Stephanie pulls Triple H off Kurt Angle. The place is going nuts. Angle eventually puts Stephanie in the ankle lock. So I was like, yes, finally, Stephanie is getting the shit beat out of her, and this is great. Triple H tries to pedigree Ronda. She flips him into a Hurricane Rana. Rousey gets Stephanie in the armbar. Angle puts Triple H in the ankle lock. I thought that's going to be it. Stereo submissions. It's going to be in sync, but Triple H is able to roll out, sends Angle crashing into Rousey. Angle goes shoulder first into the ring post, and Triple H and Stephanie, they're setting up for dueling pedigrees. Angle back body drops Triple H over the top rope, and Rousey flips Stephanie out of the pedigree into the armbar. Stephanie taps out. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey are your winners. This match kicks some major ass. This was great stuff to see. Kudos to Ronda Rousey. She made a hell of a debut. Kurt, great seeing him in his first WrestleMania match since WrestleMania 22. Hard to believe it was that long ago, 12 years ago, but I thought easily this was the match of the night. And looking back on how the main event went, I felt like this match or the Charlotte versus Asuka match should have main evented, in my opinion. Looking back on it now and seeing how things went, yeah, I feel that match definitely should have main evented. So that was great. And we move on here to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Usos versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. It was a really quick match. I believe it only went 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Really wish this match was a TLC match. I felt like they could have went in there and delivered a memorable TLC match with 3 teams involved. Obviously, they had time constraints, so the action that they had was okay. It was a decent match. The Bludgeon Brothers get the win. They hit the powerbomb off the top rope on Kofi Kingston. They are your new tag team champions. What I would like to see, looking ahead here for Backlash, and I will be doing card predictions videos for Backlash, now that the Bludgeon Brothers are your SmackDown tag team champions, I would like to see them and the Usos tear it up. Hell, do this match again. And do a TLC match at Backlash. I really want to see a TLC match between all 3 of these teams. If it's just between the Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers, we know those 2 teams can go. We've seen them tear it up before, especially back in 2014. They had some great tag team matches. So we'll see where it goes. Like I said, decent match. Obviously affected here by time constraints. Now, John Cena makes his way back out for a match, but will The Undertaker show up? We heard he was there. The lights go out. We're all thinking it's The Undertaker. And who does it end up being? Walk with Elias. I loved it. Elias, of course, promised he was going to have a concert for the ages at WrestleMania 34. And he certainly, performed. It wasn't The Rock. I thought we were going to see The Rock and Elias. Of course, Rock wasn't there. But, yes, I agree. Hopefully Stephanie does stay off TV for good. That would be a godsend. But Elias comes down there, pisses Cena off. He says, "Were you expecting somebody else?" And I'm like, that's just freaking great. He says the person they were looking for isn't anywhere close to how great Elias is. Sings about Cena wanting Taker, but it's his night. Cena hits the 5 moves of doom. AA's Elias. He gets out of the ring. And Cena's music hits. He starts to walk up the ramp, and the lights go out. And Undertaker's gear from WrestleMania 33 is in the ring. Lightning hits the gear. It disappears. The lights go out. The gong hits. The Undertaker appears. And Cena's just shocked. The Undertaker has returned to the same arena where he lost and went 21-1. And on this night, I have to say, even though I didn't want to see The Undertaker wrestle again, if he was going to, this is probably going to be as good as it's going to get. He beat John Cena in 3 minutes. To me, it was a solid 3 minutes. Undertaker, I'd have to say, looked in better shape than he did last year. Hit Snake Eyes, hit the leg drop. Cena got a little bit of offense, if that. Undertaker sits up. Cena goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, choke slams, tombstone pile driver. The Undertaker defeats John Cena in 3 minutes. That was shocking. I didn't know if they were going to do a match or a short segment, but seeing the and they said he's back, so obviously he's not retired. To me, this can't be it. I thought last year was it. So I don't know when this legend, The Undertaker, is going to retire. Is it going to be next year in New York? Does this set up Undertaker versus Cena in an actual full-length match? I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, but apparently The Undertaker is back, and we'll see where this goes. Like I said, it was 3 minutes long, but I'd say Undertaker looked better than he did last year, easily. Last year, he did not look good at all. So, Dead Man's back. We'll see what is in store for him next, I guess. Next up, we had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. And, of course, the stipulation in this match was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lost. They would remain fired. And finally see Daniel Bryan make his return. The video package for him returning was incredible. Yeah, I agree. Taker did look better. To me, he almost looked like how he did in 2015. I thought in 2015, that was when Taker was at his last best. 2016, I didn't think he looked good at all. 2017, I think he looked even worse. But yeah, Taker definitely, I agree with you there. But let's talk about Daniel Bryan, his entrance. It was incredible to see him come back to the arena where he won it all, where he beat Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista on the same night, Evolution in one night. That was surreal, a sight to see. Now, what I didn't like about this match was the fact that it started off with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn jumping Shane and Daniel Bryan. They powerbombed Bryan into the apron, and he was going to be stretchered out. And to me, I would have rather have had it the other way around. Get Bryan in there, and then, he's doing his moves, boom, boom, boom. And then you do the fake out spot with the powerbomb. Is he going to make it back on the ring? They beat down on Shane. To me, this was backwards. I felt like it kind of took the crowd out of it, too. Don't get me wrong. I thought this was a good match, but I just felt like the way that it was put together was a little bit off. Because we all knew Bryan was getting back in there. We all knew eventually once he gets in there, he's going to run wild. And, of course, he did. Shane took most of the punishment early on in this match. And to me, he really didn't look good at all. I don't know if that's suffering from his real-life injuries, the diverticulitis, whatever he's going on. You could tell Shane was definitely in pain here. But once Bryan got back in here and hit the missile drop kicks and the yes kicks and just running wild, there is nothing to me like a Daniel Bryan comeback in WWE. And eventually, he hits the running knee and puts Sami Zayn in the yes lock, and Sami Zayn taps out. And to my surprise, I predicted Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would win this match. Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon win, and that means Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens remain fired. I'm not sure where this goes. Does this mean that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens show up on Raw? I think it's a high possibility. Very likely. Maybe we'll find out tonight, even as soon as tonight. But yeah, I thought this was a good match, but I felt like the way it was put together was a little bit backwards. I felt like if you would have had Bryan get in there, get taken out, and then come back in to make the save, they made this a little bit more complicated than it needed to be. But overall, it was great seeing Daniel Bryan back in there, and I can't wait to see what's in store for him. I don't see him being SmackDown general manager for long, and obviously I believe we will find out as soon as this Tuesday as to what's next for Daniel Bryan. And moving on here to our next match, Raw Women's Championship match, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Decent match. Went 10 minutes. I would have cut that down to 5. I even said in my preview, this match doesn't need to go any longer than 5 minutes. Really, I thought Alexa got a little bit more offense in than I thought she would have. I thought it should have just, honestly been Nia going in there, beating the shit out of Alexa Bliss, and she wins the Raw Women's Championship. Now, she did win the Raw Women's Championship, of course. She destroyed Alexa Bliss with the Alabama Slam, went to the top rope, hit the Samoan drop. Alexa Bliss unable to get to the 3. Nia Jax is your new Raw Women's Championship. Crowd was kind of out of it for this one. And to me, I thought this match was it was okay. It was an average match. So yeah, Alexa Bliss, no longer Raw Women's Champion. And we'll see what's next here for Nia Jax tonight on Raw. Now, this match right here. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. To start, I thought Nakamura and Styles, I both loved their entrances here at WrestleMania. To me, that's always, the highlight of WrestleMania here. His entrance was pretty badass here. Nita Strauss from, I believe, Alice Cooper, who I have seen live before. Love me some Alice Cooper, some classic rock right there. The guitarist in his band performed the entrance for Shinsuke Nakamura. It was an incredible rendition, just a sight to behold. 78,000 singing along to Nakamura's entrance. Styles comes down to the ring. They got lasers in the ring, and he's doing this phenomenal pose, and this feels like a big-time match, and you're hoping that this is going to deliver, and the match ends up being okay. To me, this felt like a SmackDown TV main event. To me, this felt like they were holding back. To me, this didn't deliver on the hype. I don't know if that was just, the way the match was laid out or, what they ended up doing. But, the crowd was into it early on, and then they kind of lost them during the match. I was waiting. Okay, the match is going to pick up here. Here we go. Now we're going to go into that next gear. But to me, Nakamura Styles, it never went into that next gear. It just kind of stayed okay. I mean, I thought this was a good match, but it certainly wasn't a great match. It certainly wasn't the match of the night. No, it wasn't. And when, towards the end, Nakamura was able to get the Kinshasa to the back of the head, Styles kicked out. He keeps kneeing Styles over and over and over. Slaps AJ in the head, hits the reverse exploder, calling for the Kinshasa. AJ nicely countered into the Styles clash. I thought, he's going to kick out here, and boom, we're going to keep going. But no, AJ hits the Styles clash on Nakamura, and that's it. I thought the match was just starting to pick up there, and I thought if it got another 7 or 8 minutes, maybe it could have turned into something special, but as it was, I thought this was a good match, but a disappointing match for who was involved and the way that it was hyped up. However, they did give me something to talk about after the match. So after the match, Nakamura is going to present AJ with the championship as a sign of respect, gives AJ the title, he holds it up, and he hits him in the balls. Nakamura, that's right, he turned heel on AJ Styles. He low blows him, stomps the hell out of him, hits Kinshasa on the outside of the ring. We now got to heel Shinsuke Nakamura. I think we now can finally get this story going, because I felt going into this match, the story was lacking. But now that there's a heel babyface dynamic, and Nakamura is a sore loser, he beats the shit out of AJ. And I think the match for Backlash, if they do this match again at Backlash, I think it could easily outdo this match. I know they can, considering who's involved. Now that we've got a heel babyface dynamic, and you can build upon that story. Let's see what they can come up with. If they do the rematch at Backlash, I'm looking forward to it. However, this, to me, was not a WrestleMania classic. It wasn't even the best match of the night. So that, I have to say, was a disappointment. Let's talk about this Raw Tag Team Championship match. This was weird. I don't know what this was. So the Bar make this entrance on this Mardi Gras-like float. They got the guys with the big heads, the people in the costumes, and then Strowman comes down. The costume people just all start running everywhere. I'm laughing my ass off. That was pretty funny, I have to say. They're running for their lives. Strowman pushes the Mardi Gras float off the stage, and then he says, the monster among men is going to pick somebody from the crowd. I want you, whoever it is from the WWE universe, or something like that. That's what Strowman said. Strowman literally goes into the crowd, and he starts looking for people. He's like, who the hell is he going to pick? I thought for sure it would be Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley, Big Cass, Big Show, somebody, a surprise. And I was certainly surprised. This shocked the hell out of me. He picked a 10-year-old kid named Nicholas, who I at first thought was a girl. I can't lie. Until Strowman said, this boy. I'm like, oh, okay. So he picked Nicholas. I don't know how I feel about this. That was shocking. It's just like, what the hell am I watching here? I can't believe it. Him and Strowman win the Raw Tag Team Championships. So Strowman and a 10-year-old kid that he apparently kidnapped from the crowd win the Raw Tag Team Championships. I don't know what the hell this means for Raw. The crowd popped for him. The crowd really popped when Nicholas got the tag. Of course, he wasn't going to do anything. He tagged back out. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but Strowman and a 10-year-old kid are the Raw Tag Team Champions. And I believe the 10-year-old kid is the son of one of the WWE referees. So yeah, I guess we'll find out what happens on Raw tonight. Cool moment for the kid. What's next? Can you imagine if the Authors of Pain came up and beat the hell out of the kid? I mean, they would never do that, but that would be certainly not PG. It ain't gonna happen. But okay then. Let's talk about the main event. I watched it twice, and I still feel the same way. Universal Championship match. Paul Heyman in Lesnar's corner versus Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar for Roman Reigns Universal Championship. This was an underwhelming main event with a shocking outcome. Lesnar Reigns battle it out. The battle throughout ringside. Brock throws Roman into the barricade, throws him into the table, F5s him through the table. Hits 6 F5s on Roman Reigns. Roman hits a million Superman punches, what it felt like on Lesnar. Crowd really could not care less. And Reigns gets busted open by Lesnar, which I was surprised to see. She got a lot of blood in this match. Reigns is a crimson mass, so I don't know what it is with this company and, the blood. If you're going to do it, great. Do it. If it's not going to happen, then don't do the blood. I think blood is important for big-time matches, but I just feel they're inconsistent. Like, Gargano Ciampa could have used blood. And to me, that was a near-perfect match. But it's like they can't get it, yet we use it here. When it just felt like, oh, he's bleeding. Like, to me, it didn't really feel like it called for that. At least that match, the way it was going. Roman hits 2 spears on Lesnar. I think that's going to be it. Thinking he's kicking out. Or no, he's not kicking out. Brock kicks out. He hits Roman Reigns with 6. That's right. 6 F5s it took. And Brock Lesnar beats Roman Reigns. And that's how we end the show. No big pyro. Lesnar just gets the hell out of there. They show Roman walking back up with this disappointed look on his face. And I was certainly shocked. I was surprised. I'm curious to see where this goes next. What's next for Roman and Brock? This certainly wasn't as good as their... It didn't even come close to their match at 31. Crowd could not have cared less. They're chanting, this is awful. I didn't think it was awful, but I didn't think it was good. Playing with beach balls. I mean, this underwhelmed because I thought they could have went in there and had a really good match. And I was underwhelmed myself. And that's really all I have to say about the main event. I really don't have anything else to say. But looking at this show as a whole, a night of up and downs. But I thought overall the positives to me outweighed the negatives. Even though it was a long show, I still enjoyed Daniel Bryan, his comeback. That was great. Strowman stuff, that was weird. But I guess memorable in a way. Seeing The Undertaker, even if for 3 minutes, wow. I thought he looked much, much better. Asuka Charlotte, hell of a women's match. The opening triple threat match, that was great. Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, Stephanie, Triple H, great, great match. Everything else to me was there. You had Asuka streak ending, Nakamura turning heel, the upset of Reigns losing to Lesnar. So I thought for me, WrestleMania had more positive than negative. I understand if you didn't enjoy this show, but if you did, like me, I'm giving this show a B-. I'm giving it a B-. It was a good WrestleMania. It wasn't great, but I would say it was a good show. So, guys, that just about does it here for my live WrestleMania review. I want to say thank you for being patient while I got this review posted. I want to say be sure to check out all my live reactions to Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and, of course, Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie. Sure to check out my NXT TakeOver review. I got my top 15 opponents for Daniel Bryan's return to the ring. And, of course, tonight, I will be back up here after Raw, breaking down the biggest Raw of the year, Raw after WrestleMania. It'll be a good one. It always is. So be back up here at 11:15 p.m. going live, and it'll be great. So that does it, guys, for my live WrestleMania review. I want to say thank you all for watching. Be sure to click my like and subscribe button here on youtube.com/DanielGuys412. And until my next video, I will catch you guys later on. So thank you all for watching, and have a great day.